Hey everybody, welcome to another adventure in real estate. And here we are, middle of March. Got another market update coming to you. Um, Because this market is churning along. This weather in March, whew, it's been some chilly days and some flip-flop kind of days as far as I'm concerned. But that being said, this real estate market continues to churn along. Um, Quick snapshot, if I were just to wrap it up in just a couple of quick seconds, I'd say interest rates have been steady. We've seen inventory begin to increase a little bit from where we load out there in December and January. Sales just not quite as strong as a year ago, but still moving. So that's a quick snapshot. We're going to dig into the details here as we bring this market update here from the Kingery team at Mountain to Lake Realty. Guys, when you look at homes sold, I just sort of give you a brief snapshot there, but when you look at homes sold for the month of February, we're just over 300 homes in the greater Roanoke Valley area. 300 homes, just a little over 300. And if you were to compare that to a year ago, we were like 312 for a year ago in February 2025, and compare that to 5 years ago, we were at 400. So not a lot of difference from where we were a year ago. A big difference, or a bigger difference as when you compare it to 5 years ago. The market, as far as the pace of the market, is nowhere near where it was sort of coming right out of COVID and what we saw there in 21 and 22. When you look at we drilled down a little bit further with residential homes in Franklin County, 41 in 2026. We were at 46 in 2025, 62 5 years ago. Smith Mountain Lake, waterfront residences, 17 February of 2026. A year ago, we were at 14 and 34 5 years ago. When we talk about the pace of this market, I've told you guys I do think things have slowed down some, and we certainly see that. So when you look at the overall pace of the market and those 300 homes that sold in February of 2026, an average days on market was 91. And if you compare that to the 312 homes that sold in 2025, we were at 78. So you can see there, roughly, what is that, 13 days that we've got a little bit more. And I do think, when we look at the pace of this market, at least to this point, things are taking a little longer to sell. Although that's not to say that we don't see a home come on the market and then with 48 hours it's under contract, because that certainly has happened. Multiple offers, we've seen that here in the last few weeks. So that gives you a quick snapshot when you look at residential homes and kind of where we are on that standpoint. I'm going to switch gears to land. Guys, land seems to be strong. There seems to be a good demand for land. When you look at the numbers, you look at the Roanoke Valley, February 2026, we had 59, almost 60 listings moved throughout the Roanoke Valley. You compare that to where we were a year ago, 61, so just a couple, so very flat compared to a year ago. And then when you look at 5 years ago, we're at 64. So again, just a very steady market. And we break that down into, Franklin County and Smith Mountain Lake, be very similar. 18 land listings sold in the month of February 2026 compared to 25 in 2025 and 19 in 5 years ago. Smith Mountain Lake, 3 moved in February of 2026, 5 in 2025, 10 in 2020. So these are that'd be waterfront land listings there when talking about Smith Mountain Lake. I mentioned interest rates. Guys, things just seem to kind of be churning. It depends on the week. Maybe we're up a little bit, down a little bit, but we're hovering right around 6%. And that seems to be kind of where we are right now. Stay tuned. We'll continue to give you updates if something changes on that front. But right now, that's where we are. And everywhere you talk to, the smart folks, the economists, these guys are part of Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, just all the folks in that space say that they anticipate this is kind of where we're going to be for a while. So don't wait. If you're interested in buying some property, let's not wait. Let's go ahead and get that taken care of. Last thing I'm going to touch on is inventory. Guys, I talked about inventory. It kind of peaked there October, November, and we've seen things kind of go down from an overall inventory standpoint. Height would that have been about 1,450 homes. We're down, I guess now 1,150. I think it peaked back up here when we were 1,130 in February. Here in March, we were back up about 20 more homes. And guys, this is going to vary a little bit, depending on the day to day, because inventory does have a tendency to fluctuate here on the day to day as we pull the numbers. So, but we are higher here in March than we were in February. And I think we're going to see that trend continue as we move in here into the spring. So stay tuned. Latest and greatest information always coming to you here on these adventures in real estate with the Kingery team at Mountain View Lake Realty. We'll look forward to seeing you next time. Until then, take care.